Hey everybody, my name is Quinn the GM. Welcome back to the channel. It's been an exciting week to be a D&D fan. We had brand new Unearthed Arcana on Monday, and Tuesday we had Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel come out. This was initially supposed to come out back in June, but I think supply chain stuff delayed it a little bit, but I'm still nonetheless quite excited to have it here. I've been reading it for the past couple days, compiling my thoughts, and I'm excited to share them with you. Overall, I think this is quite an interesting book. It is a compilation of adventures similar to Candlekeep Mysteries, Tales from the Yawning Portal, and Ghosts of Saltmarsh, and I really like that style of adventure. I tend to run homebrew games, and these are easy to just slot into those homebrew games with slight alterations to make them fit your world better. But we'll get into more specifications on that in the video proper. Before then, be sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't. Subscribing really helps the channel grow, and I'm trying to get to 500. I'm really close, and I really appreciate every single subscriber. And be sure to leave your thoughts on Journeys to the Radiant Citadel below, including whether or not you plan on picking it up. And if you have picked it up, what adventure is your favorite? So yeah, let's jump into things. Like I said at the top, this is a compilation of adventures. There are 13 adventures total, spanning 14 levels of play, that being because the first adventure is levels 1 through 2. And overall, with any compilation product like this, there is a slight variation in quality, but overall, I really enjoyed these. Personally, I wasn't the biggest fan of Candlekeep Mysteries. I think that it had good elements throughout and had some good individual adventures, but I felt like they were too shackled by all being mysteries. Them all being confined by the same genre really made it feel as though they were kind of just too similar in a sense. And what's more, I feel like mysteries just don't work very well in D&D, especially above 5th level. Because once you have spells that are able to contact the dead, or bring back the dead, or force people to tell the truth, or ask your god for answers, you're really not able to have that much of a sustained mystery in a short-term adventure. Though I think in longer-term campaigns, mysteries are still able to be kind of run in the background as a plot element. With Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel, one of my favorite aspects of this book is the fact that there is such variety in its adventures. I think that there's a great mix of different tones, different styles, different genres, and it's wonderful to have all of these things combined in a single place. There are adventures that lean pretty heavily into horror elements. There are fairly standard D&D adventures. There are a couple that are based on carnivals. I'll get into those when I talk about some of my favorite ones, but I'll get more specific there. But overall, I really like this. And what's more, this adventure is written entirely by people of color, which is great. I think it's great to have voices that have not necessarily been heard as much in the past of D&D get their chance to share their stories and share stories that are important to them. And I think they do a great job of representing ideas that might not have been as common throughout D&D in previous years, and I think it's great. Oh, my phone is ringing. I think that the authors of this book bring a great diversity of viewpoints and cultures, and they really weave that into the adventures quite well. I think that a lot of these stem from cultures that are not typically seen in what is considered like traditional D&D settings, at least from older editions. And I think it's great to tread new ground like this. I think that having these new settings and new adventure ideas really allows for a lot more creativity on the parts of both the authors of this book and DMs in their own game. And it's great to have that just mix of different ideas throughout. And furthermore, I think that the kind of hub world here is a lot more unique than things like Candlekeep Mysteries, like Tales from the Yawning Portal. I think that this allows a lot more connectivity between all of the adventures. And I think it's great to have that kind of the Radiant Citadel itself as a kind of adventure stepping off point. And it is fairly developed and has unique elements that I would love to see explored in a game. I should also not go any further without mentioning one of my favorite aspects of this book, and that is the art. Every single piece of art in this book is absolutely beautiful. There have been books in the past where it's kind of been hit or miss on the art for me, or it's a lot of stuff from Magic the Gathering or whatnot. This is a lot of fantastic original pieces that I just absolutely love. And furthermore, there are, I think like 12 or 11 new monsters, and I really like all of them. I think they're quite interesting and unique. My favorite of them, I don't want to spoil it in case people are going to be players for these adventures. There's a new type of dragon that's introduced here that I really enjoy. It reminds me a bit of a Behir, but kind of, I like the flavor of this one a lot better, and I think it fits in quite well to any game. And I also really like the creature on the front of the book here. I believe its name is, let me check real quick. I should have pulled this page up before I started this section, but I didn't realize I was going to talk about that specifically. It's a winling, or a wineling. This is the official art in the book. I quite enjoy it. It's a cute little creature. That'll focus on the camera. There you go. But yeah, no, I think that the creatures throughout this book are great and really lend to the settings quite a bit. I'm now going to briefly touch on 4 of my favorite adventures and why I particularly like them. I don't plan on going into spoilers for this section. They're just going to be kind of overviews and what I liked about each adventure, and I don't think any of that is too particularly spoilery. But if you want to go in completely blind, I understand if you want to skip this section, just move on a little bit in the video and we'll come back to it. So the first adventure, Salted Legacy, it's the first adventure in the book, is one of my favorites. I love the kind of festival background. It's a night market where there are competing families with different stalls and different food vendors. It's quite fun, and my favorite aspect of it is it provides a wide array of new carnival games, which, as a DM, I've relied on carnivals a few times in the past, and after, I think it's been 5 years I've been DMing now, I'm completely out of ideas for carnival games. So this is a great way to refresh that and have a bunch of brand new ideas, a lot of which I really like and can't wait to run in my game in a little bit. Moving on, that was an adventure from level 1 to 2. This is moving up to the 4th level adventure. The Fiend of the Hollow Mine is another quite interesting one. This is much darker in tone. It's about a spreading curse in a town, emanating, as you would guess from the title, from a mine. Specifically, I really like the monster in this chapter. I tweeted about it yesterday if you want to check that out, but I don't want to get into spoilers in case players see this video. Getting on to my higher level favorites here, Between Tangled Roots is the 10th level adventure that I am quite a fan of. You essentially have to stop this raging dragon creature that I talked about earlier from destroying this town that it worshipped it, and it's quite interesting to figure out why that's happening, and it's a great adventure for the players to be able to kind of figure out that, not necessarily mystery element, like I was talking about with Candlekeep Mysteries, but at the very least solve a problem that is a big thing to a lot of people, an entire village worth of people. And finally, I also want to talk about the Night Seas Succor. I apologize, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that word. It's a quest for ancient lore that is lost in a shipwreck, which any nautical adventure I am immediately a fan of. That's just a great thing for me, and I'm quite excited to run elements of that as well. I quite like the ideas present there, and anything that is on a ship is just automatically good in my book, and I also think that that's just a pretty creative idea, and I like that the lore is pretty fleshed out and established in the world, and there's also some interesting political intrigue in that one, and the same goes for Salted Legacy, actually. Those both have kind of factions that are at odds with each other's at various points in the adventure itself, and I really enjoy that in my adventures, and at least as a DM, as running that adventure. So yeah, those are my favorites. I haven't really read all of them all the way through yet. I've skimmed and gone through the basics of all of them and gone in depth of, I think, 10 of the 13. I still haven't done a couple of the mid-level ones, but overall, I've really enjoyed a lot of these. There haven't been any that I've actively disliked yet, which is a great sign with these compilation adventure books. Some other just quality of life stuff that I really like from this book. There are great maps throughout for different areas and even battle maps when it's relevant. And furthermore, they have pronunciation guides for like every single name that'll come up in a chapter, which I really like. I have trouble with just all sorts of fantasy names, and I think it's great to have that as an option to just know exactly how it should be pronounced before you're just kind of winging it, as I often do. But it's great to have that as a resource. And furthermore, I really like the NPC descriptions throughout this book. I think that it's great to have the just small blocks that they do. They have pretty much exactly as much as you'll need to flesh out an NPC in play, especially in adventures like this. But it's quite detailed, and the trait ideal bond flaw system is just really well used here, and I find that it creates really well-rounded and interesting NPCs. Prior to this book, I've been taking a bit of a break from D&D published adventures. I picked up Strixhaven. I think I actually got it as a Christmas gift. I wasn't a huge fan of that. I hadn't picked up Wild Beyond the Witchlight and Netherdeep, though I'd heard great things about both, just because I don't tend to run published adventures all that much. But with Journeys to the Radiant Citadel, I am very glad I picked it up, and I would absolutely recommend that you pick it up as well. I think there are a ton of unique ideas within here that could be run as a continuous campaign or added and dropped into any homebrew campaign, as I am likely to do in the near future with my homebrew campaign. But overall, I think it's a fantastic book and easily my favorite adventure book thus far this year, probably from last year too. Honestly, I think it's my favorite or second favorite of the compilation books. It's probably this or Saltmarsh. And Saltmarsh, I'm not a huge fan of as a compilation book. I just have a soft spot for nautical adventures. But yeah, overall, I think this is a great book. I highly recommend you pick it up. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you hadn't already. Let me know what you thought of this review, or of my thoughts, or of the book as a whole. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your opinion. And yeah, I'll see you all next time. I think next time I'll probably do a video on some homebrew lore of my own from my campaign notebook that is full of all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Have a nice day.